Today, we're diving deep into an invisible communication network that's running inside your body right now. It's this incredible system that orchestrates everything from healing a tiny scratch to launching an all-out war against invaders. So let's get into it.
I mean, think about it for a second. You get a little paper cut, and almost instantly there's this whole dramatic reaction. That isn't just a random accident. Nope, it's a highly coordinated, super fast emergency response. And in this explainer, we're going to meet the invisible commanders who are directing that entire operation.
To really get this, you have to imagine your body as this bustling city with trillions of citizens. And those are your cells. And just like any big city, they need a way to talk to each other, to coordinate, especially when there's a crisis. They need a kind of emergency broadcast system. And the language they're all speaking? Well, that's the language of cytokines. And these aren't just little whispers between cells. Oh no. These are the emergency alerts, the rallying cries, and the strategic orders that tell other cells exactly what to do, where to go, and when it's time to fight. Honestly, without them, our defenses would just be total chaos.
So, we know they're messengers. That's a good start. But what exactly are these powerful little molecules that are running the whole show behind the scenes?
So the formal definition is that they're small proteins that act as signals. But the name itself, that gives us a huge clue. It comes from the Greek cyto, for cell, and kinesis, for movement. They literally make cells move. They get them to take action. You could say they are the prime movers of our entire immune system.
Now, you might be thinking, hold on, aren't these just like hormones? It's a really common question, but there are some absolutely crucial differences. See, hormones, they're usually made in specific glands. Think insulin from the pancreas. But cytokines, almost any cell can pump them out when it senses a threat. And here's the real kicker. Look at the concentration. During an infection, cytokine levels can surge 1,000 times higher than normal. It's this massive, rapid-fire broadcast, completely different from the slow and steady signals of hormones.
Okay, so not all cytokines are created equal. It's actually helpful to think of them as having different jobs. Different roles within our body's defense force. So let's meet some of the most important players.
First up on the scene, we've got the recruiters. These are the chemokines. When there's trouble, like that paper cut we talked about, chemokines are the first ones to sound the alarm. They basically act like a biological GPS, guiding our immune cells right to the site of the problem.
Their main trick is something called chemotaxis. Just imagine them laying down this chemical scent trail, a gradient that gets stronger and stronger the closer you get to the danger zone. Immune cells, like neutrophils, they're just drawn to the scent, and they follow it right to the source of the infection. But chemokines aren't just for emergencies. They also have a day job, helping out with normal stuff like tissue development and routine immune patrols.
Next, let's meet the specialized antiviral squad of the cytokine world, the Interferons. And their name tells you exactly what they do. They interfere with viruses.
And they have this really clever two-pronged attack. Type I interferons are kind of like a warning flare shot out from an infected cell. It tells all the neighboring cells, hey, lock down your protein-making factories, which basically starves any virus that tries to invade them. At the same time, type 2 interferons act like a super soldier serum for our immune cells, supercharging macrophages and turning them into way more effective pathogen-killing machines.
And finally, we get to the high-level commanders. These are molecules like the interleukins and tumor necrosis factor, or TNF for short. These guys don't just act locally. They issue broad, sweeping orders that can affect your entire body.
And these commanders, they are the reason you feel sick all over during an infection, not just at the spot where the problem started. Ever had a fever? Yeah, that's probably interleukin 6 or IL-6, telling your brain's thermostat to crank up the heat and make things miserable for the invaders. That general feeling of inflammation and aches, that's often orchestrated by tnf-alpha. They're coordinating a body-wide defensive strategy.
But this incredibly powerful system has a dark side. What happens when this amazing communication network just breaks down? When the messages become a deafening, chaotic roar that turns on the body itself?
Well, that's when you get the infamous cytokine storm. It is a catastrophic positive feedback loop. One cytokine triggers others, which then trigger even more and more, creating this overwhelming, deafening roar of inflammatory signals. The immune system essentially goes haywire, and it turns its immense power against the body's own tissues, which can have absolutely devastating consequences.
And this isn't just some abstract concept. Cytokine storms are thought to be one of the main reasons the 1918 Spanish flu was so deadly, especially for young, healthy people. Their strong immune systems mounted such a massive overreaction that it was catastrophic. And of course, much more recently, we saw it again as a major driver of severe lung damage in critically ill COVID-19 patients.
But here's where the story takes a turn. By understanding this dark side, by learning the language of cytokines, we've started to figure out how to harness their incredible power for good. We're turning these natural signals into powerful medicines.
And what's so amazing about this is that we can now manufacture these signals as drugs. So instead of giving the body some foreign chemical, we're giving it a message it already understands. We use manufactured interferon to help treat viral infections like hepatitis C. We can give a patient interleukin-2 to rev up their immune system to fight off certain cancers. We can even use a cytokine called EPO to tell the bone marrow, hey, make more red blood cells for patients with anemia. We are quite literally learning to speak the body's own language to help it heal itself.
So all of this, it really brings us to one central idea. The cytokine network is a system of immense power, and it's constantly walking this incredibly fine line between protecting us and destroying us.
It's a pretty profound paradox when you think about it. The very same tools that defend us from countless threats every single day can, when they get out of balance, become the cause of our own demise. It is the definition of a double-edged sword.
And that leaves us with this really fascinating final thought. Maybe the next great medical breakthroughs won't come from inventing new drugs out of thin air, but from us becoming better conductors of this incredible internal orchestra. The real challenge is learning how to quiet the symphony when it becomes a storm, and how to amplify a whisper when a new threat is on the horizon. The question for the future is, how do we master that balance?